Hey guys, Justin here. I'm here to tell you why gated content is dead and why custom AI generated content is going to be the new way folks choose to engage with your funnel. Today, I'm going to show you how I vibe coded a custom app that generates unique content for my audience every time they fill out a form on my site, and why your customers are going to love this. With the help of Claude Code, ChatGPT, or Google Gemini, you can also create custom apps to generate unique content for your users. What's even better, this is probably going to take you less than half an hour, and all these tools are free. So, what are you waiting for? Let's dive in and start vibe coding our app. All right, guys. Now we're going to use Claude Code to help us generate our code for our app that we're developing. So, this being vibe coding, I figure most of you will probably be using something like Claude, ChatGPT, or Gemini directly in the console. So, this video is meant to show you how to code in the console and get your app live as fast as possible. Our goal today is to build this app in under an hour. So, what you'll notice when you first come into Claude is the terminal window where you can type in your instructions. I've already generated a prompt, which I will be sharing in the links in the description of this video to help us go ahead and develop our app. So let's just take our prompt and copy it over to Claude. So just paste it in here. And for my purposes, I gave Claude some other instructions and context for developing this app, which is my personal readiness guide to AI automation. So this is a piece of content that you can find on my LinkedIn profile that I wrote to help people determine when they're ready to go ahead and start developing AI automations at their company. And this app is an app to help them complete a self-assessment and give them custom instructions to get ready to start leveraging AI automations in their workflows. So let's go ahead and generate our code. All right, so now Claude is going to take the prompt and the context document that I gave it from my Google Docs, and it is going to start generating code for us. So this all happens pretty quickly. And we're using Claude 4 Sonnet today. So this is the latest model as of June 2025. I'm sure this will not be the latest model at some point, so we'll go ahead and put a date stamp there. And here we go. Claude is about to do its thing. Alrighty, so Claude is going to start coding for us and developing several different code files, which we're going to be leveraging in our next step when we go over to GitHub and start uploading these files to GitHub to get ready for our deployment of our app. So Claude's going to do its thing here for a minute. It's probably going to take a couple minutes to code this entire app based on our instructions and several different files that it's going to have to generate, including, all the design for the form, as well as the instructions to leverage our LLM to craft a unique output for each user as they're filling out the application. So stick around, and we will, once this is done, we will be jumping right over to GitHub to upload our code to GitHub. All right, guys. So we now have our code generated from Claude, which took about 5 minutes for Claude to get through all of the different modules that need to be a part of our app. So one of the things that I'm going to recommend for everyone that is critical for your app to be unique to you and your content and your business is creating what they call a context.md file. So this is a file where you're going to provide all of the instructions and knowledge for Claude or whichever LLM you're leveraging to understand exactly what your point of view is, what your recommendations are for your client, or any other content instructions that you want to provide the LLM for context as it's developing its responses. For me, I've included a lot of guidance here as to what I recommend for each different level of maturity when it comes to readiness for implementing AI automations at your company. Now, depending on what level you're at, you're going to do different things, right? And you'll have instructions that are customized to reach the next level. This could be a, multi-month plan, but there's a lot of insight and instruction in here for Claude and or Gemini or ChatGPT to leverage when developing that recommendation for your user so that it sounds like you and makes the right recommendations instead of doing things that we all dread, like a hallucination or something like that, where it just really goes off the rails and gives your users a bad experience. So again, this is part of the prompt that I will be linking for you guys. This is the context.md file that will be developed with your code. In order for Claude to code this context.md file, you're going to need to provide your instructional content. Now that could be a white paper, a guide, an ebook that you've developed for a blog or something like that you've developed for clients in the past that has this information in this context. You could even use your Google Drive connected to Claude for it to comb through your Google Drive and pull out those insights from other pieces of content that are saved in your Google Drive. So another pro tip, if you will. Okay, guys, now we're going to prepare to deploy our app to GitHub and move all of our code from Claude over to GitHub now that we have all of the different files from Claude as well as our context.md file to give our LLM that awesome next level content that is going to make its responses really sound like us. So what you're going to need to do if you don't have a GitHub account already is create one. I didn't have an account when I first did this either. So feel free to go over and create a free GitHub account. Once you get to GitHub, you'll land on the home page and you will click on new for repositories. A repository is where you're going to place your code so that we can deploy it and push our app live. So just click on new and you're going to name your repository something that has relevance or context for your app. Let's just name, for the sake of testing, call this test app 1. And then go ahead and if you want to add a README file, this is so that folks on GitHub that find your code know what your code does. It's just a description of your app and what your app does so that people can decide by reading your README file if they want to engage with it or check your app out or as they say on GitHub, fork the app and use the code to help them develop their own, their own applications. So you'll go ahead and click Create Repository. This will start the repository. And now that we're in our repository, we're ready to start bringing over our code from Claude. So if you go back to Claude, Claude will have provided you with some nice instructions as to your file structure in GitHub. Now, this is important. This is basically where you're going to place each code document within GitHub. So you'll notice Pages has several subfolders. You'll have the Pages folder. Underneath Pages, you'll have the API folder. Underneath API, you'll have an analyze.js code document, right? And this is where your document goes. And then underneath Pages, you'll also have your index.js file as well. And this is where your index.js code goes. And Claude does a really nice job of breaking these up into individual files so that you can just quickly copy and paste this file structure and the code that's in the file structure into GitHub. So let's just go ahead and start creating our files in GitHub. We'll go ahead and start with our context.md file since it's right here. We just made that. Let's jump over to GitHub. And you're going to click Add a File, create new file, and name your file. So this is how you're going to name your file within the hierarchy that we just covered. So go back to your hierarchy. Where does our context.md go? It goes underneath AI readiness assessment as a root folder, right? You put it here. So let's go back. Let's call this context.md. And then we are just going to paste in our content and click commit changes. Alrighty. And now you will see your context.md file over here within the GitHub repository. So next, you're going to want to add another file for your folder structure. So let's create a new file. Let's go back to our folder structure. This one we're going to call pages. And you're going to put your content in here from your pages file. So let's find pages. Right, and it will be over here in your instructions where you can just click on pages and copy the code from pages and start putting that into GitHub as well. So on and so forth. You'll continue through until you finish the entire file structure as it's laid out here. And once you finished uploading all of the code for your file structure, as we have done in our other environment, automation readiness, it will look like this, right? You will have all of your different files here with their individual code copied and pasted over from Claude and ready to go, right? So this is my working app already laid out here, and this is what yours will look like once you've done it correctly. And then if you go underneath components, you'll see, okay, here's my form code, here's my results code to give results to folks after they've filled out the form and gone through that. You'll also notice over here, all of your folders and files are nested. If you need to go to any one and update the code, that's very easy. You just click on it, and then you click the little pencil over here for editing your file. And then you can inline edit anything that you need to edit. Again, we're vibe coding here. This is me vibe coding. I am not an engineer by trade. That is the software engineer by trade. So that is the spirit of this video, is to help folks who are not software engineers to be able to create apps quickly and deploy them quickly. So if you're watching this and you are a software engineer and you're like, LOL fail, like, I totally get it. Put that in the comments below. I am probably LOL failing all over the place as to what a software engineer would actually recommend I do, but this is an instructional video for vibe coding where we're going to create, stuff quickly for folks that don't have that experience. So just bear with me as we work through this. All right, guys, so we are at the home stretch. We are ready to deploy our code that we created in GitHub from our GitHub repository into Vercel. So again, guess what? I didn't have a Vercel account when I first started doing this, and I just created one for free. So again, these are all free tools other than Claude, which you're probably paying for. that you can use to create this app. So go ahead and create your Vercel account for free. I just used my Google key to create an account from my business name, JustinGPT.ai. And once you do that, it will ask you if you want to link your GitHub. So you can add a GitHub account just by clicking on this little drop down here. I added the GitHub account that we just created, and it will automatically bring in your repositories that you have over in GitHub. So you can click import on any of the repositories that you've already built in GitHub. So this one was the repository that I used to create my app. These are the two test apps that you just saw us create, and they're already here. So once you upload your code from Claude to GitHub, it will appear here in Vercel, and then you just import that sucker, and then you name your project, whatever you would like to name it. This will again appear in the Vercel URL once this project is deployed. So name it something that is relevant for your users, so that the URL doesn't look funky or like something they might not trust. So anyway, I'm just going to hit deploy, and next thing is the code will be deployed and the app will be live. So a couple of steps down here, Vercel is going to go through in order to deploy this app. It's going to build logs, develop a summary of the deployment, and then assign the custom domain like we just named up here for the project name. That will appear in the custom domain. So it'll take a minute or two for this to happen, but I mean, yeah, here we go. All right, guys, now that our app is deployed, you'll see here in Vercel some production deployment details, right? It's just going to give you a little bit of reporting as to how things are performing, if you're, using firewalls and things like that to protect your code and your app from a security standpoint, all that good stuff. So if you want to go ahead and mess around with your app, give it a test, you can click on the link right here. I've linked a custom domain to house this app so that users can just visit this domain and interact with my app and get their readiness materials. But we'll just go into this locally Vercel hosted version. You can test your app and go ahead and fill things out, and let's see how it performs, right? So once we fill out the entire form, this app should ping Claude with all of the information that the user has provided, and Claude should be giving them back a unique response based on their form fill and the information that we provided in our context.md file. So let's go ahead and give it a rip. All right, so we've got a 90% on our readiness score, so we're ready. Let's see what Claude thinks, right? So this is pinging Claude's API right now, our Claude model that we gave our API key for to Vercel. So this is our custom response, right? So as Justin Parnell from Justin GPT, I'll provide a detailed analysis on your impressive 90% readiness score and comprehensive framework provided. And the comprehensive framework provided. So then we go into our custom response, and you'll see there's a good bit of detail here for the user as to what they might want to do, how they might want to start pilot projects, what kind of success metrics they might consider with their pilots, what are some long-term KPIs, and all of that good stuff. So you will have your own unique version of this, which is aligned to what it is you're doing and providing value to your clients. And ideally, when someone fills out this form, you'll be collecting information on your customers and users and encouraging them with links to contact you, and you can follow up, one-to-one. Ping them on LinkedIn, ask them what they thought about the app. You could code a version of this where this report is generated in an email. This report is generated in a Google Doc or some other form factor where you would be sending someone the report. I thought that folks probably wanted to get this content right away, right after having filled out the form. So I just had my app deliver the content immediately. Um, again, this is probably going to be the future of how folks interact with content on websites, and gated content is going to change forever, right? Whereas in the past, you would advertise an ebook or a PDF for folks to download. They'd fill out a form, give you their contact information, and then walk away with that awesome PDF that you designed. Now we're going to be able to create real custom artifacts on the fly with custom instructions for each user based on how they interact with our content. We're going to be able to do that in real time. So the value of this for folks trying to interact with you and learn from you is substantially higher than them just downloading a PDF that is static, not unique to their situation, and just, maybe not applicable in all ways to what it is they're trying to accomplish. I, have had people give me a lot of feedback on this already. A lot of folks have asked me to create videos and how tos on how they can create apps like this. So that's why we did the video today. Hopefully this helps you guys. I'm sure you'll have questions, so feel free to leave a comment. If you have questions, I'll try to get back to you guys. You guys can ping me on LinkedIn. Um, Go to my website, justingpt.ai, and engage with me there. I'd love to hear about the apps that you end up making. And if you get hung up anywhere where I might need to make a follow-up video or update this video, please let me know. And I'd love to be able to, help troubleshoot those things for you guys. So hope you enjoyed this content, and like and subscribe for more like this coming soon.